Hello, good people. Welcome to our show. Hello, bad people. Welcome to our show. Hello, guys. Welcome. Today we are going to discuss more about SEO, how you can get results, how you can change your strategy because we have AI, and I think 100%, almost 100% adapted to AI that I know. Someone who can do it a little bit, someone who can completely to change the strategy. I did completely. I changed a lot. We got great results with AI, and today I don't know how to live without this tool. Many things are changing fast. Technologies are growing fast, and SEO is a quickly changing world. Today we are going to discuss more about that with Alex Tatarinov-Levin. How are you?
Very good. Thank you for having me here. Good to talk with you in Florida. Wish I was there instead of Pennsylvania right now, where if you could see, we're having the opposite weather. We're having a little bit of snow right now.
Oh, yeah, I love snowing. I want to be honest because I lived all my life in Odessa, in south part of Ukraine, and yeah, I like this weather. But I'm okay with hot weather. I'm okay with any weather. I like Iceland, many great countries in the north part of this world. So yeah, for me, it's better to enjoy wherever you are. It doesn't matter, and I think if you enjoy what you do, then you can get results. Alex, before we start, just tell more about yourself, experience, background, and anything that can help our listeners to learn more about you.
Sure. So my name is Alex. I've been working in SEO since 2007. First, working agency side in New York City with small clients at first, and then larger national and international clients. And then I worked client side since then for publishers. For example, I began the SEO practice at Reader's Digest. And occasionally do a little bit of consulting on the side. For example, a little bit of litigation consulting when it involves search. And that's taken me along some very interesting journeys. One of the things that I'm passionate about is learning as much as possible about different channels in performance marketing. So that's given me the ability to work on some very interesting projects like reputation management was one of the more interesting disciplines that I worked in, audience development. And right now, I agree with you. I'm getting so much value out of AI. I think it's very helpful to think of AI as an intern and not be scared of jumping right in and even using the API to do more tasks that are going to be rely on more processing power. So I think that we have a really good agenda for today, and I'm excited to talk about this.
Awesome, awesome, love it, love it. Yeah, I'm gonna learn more about AI. I love it. It's only beginning of this journey, so we need to consider to adapt. And according to some data, 5% of marketers lost their jobs. And I don't think because they lost jobs because of AI. They lost these jobs because someone adapted to AI and can get great results to replace them. And I usually tell for someone if you lose your job, then start learning about AI. Think how you can adapt to this tool because I increase my results with AI. We get a lot of SEO traffic. I even didn't check with these AI detectors. I did it in the beginning, then I stopped doing this because if you can create high quality content with AI, who cares? Google cares? No, I don't think so. People care. If they get high quality content, it doesn't matter do you use AI or not, and almost all marketers use it. Alex, can you tell where to start? For example, if someone is not familiar with AI, they need to write AI prompts. So tell your best practices how to do it right.
Well, I agree with you in some sense that as long as the engagement signals are there and that people are getting value out of your content, then it's not as big of an issue that you're using AI to create your content. In fact, about a year ago or so, Google changed their guidelines to specify that using AI generated content isn't against their guidelines, as long as it's not created for the purposes of being spammy. But I also think that I agree what you talked about with the Jared Bauman of the last episode that I listened to, that engagement is one of the most important things, and it can't work depending on the type of content. But I also think that Google is going to work to hedge against that, and already is, with updates like the helpful content update. Jared also talked about information gain, the information gain patent, and the helpful content update, and other core algorithm updates more broadly are rewarding websites that have information that can't be found anywhere else, in addition to just information that's helpful that is available on other websites. So that's one reason that I think that for most types of content, it is still going to be important to have a layer of human editing, unless you're creating some kind of summary, for example. That's one way I'm using AI right now. And I think that for novice programmers like myself, it's really useful to know that you can just ask ChatGPT to teach you how to program. And that's what I've been doing. So I have very basic programming knowledge. One of the things that I do very often in SEO is scraping, as I'm sure most SEOs do. And before, I would laboriously write out my own regex and XPath scripts. And now I just ask ChatGPT to do it for me. And 95% of the time, unless it's very complex, it gets it right. And I started using ChatGPT for other more interesting batch projects. For example, I work for a company called Copilot, which is a really great, scrappy startup, and it's an auto marketplace. And one of the great things that Copilot has managed to do is increase its search traffic by over 400% in a year by focusing on topical authority. So one thing Copilot figured out is that they're doing really well in this one category of content, years to avoid. So if you're searching for any make model, like a Nissan Altima, etc., literally any make model, pretty much, and years to avoid, Copilot is going to be the #1 ranking result. And that's because we looked at which categories we were doing well in already, and what was and why those pieces of content were doing well. And we decided to fully lean into this category of years to avoid content. That's how we were able to take it over. And as we begin ranking in the first position, we also see that other websites start to link to us because we're the authoritative source on that topic. And because of that, we're able to move into tangential categories. So right now, category that we're starting to take over is most reliable years. Now, these pages are important to us because they bring us a lot of traffic, but they're not our money pages. They're not our vehicle listing pages. So one thing that we're going to test is creating summaries of that content for our vehicle listing pages, because that's some of the that content is one of our differentiators. It's what we're known for. But I ran into an issue, which is that a lot of our articles, the years to avoid articles and most reliable years articles, had contradictions. And one would say avoid this year, one would say this year is good. So I was able to use ChatGPT to find all the contradictions across many hundreds of articles by using batch processing. And that was the first step to creating the summaries. And if anyone hasn't used ChatGPT API before, I strongly suggest checking out their quick start guidelines. It was fairly straightforward for me to use. I'm on a PC and I use Python. I think for a novice like myself, it will probably take a day for you to get comfortable with working with the API. But after scraping all the articles, downloading them, I was able to start working with them in those ways, finding the contradictions, creating the summaries to add to those pages, to our product pages. And this is an area that I'm really fascinated in right now, because I see a lot of ways to use ChatGPT for strategy guidance that traditional tools haven't made very easy. For example, I'm using this for EEAT analysis right now. EEAT, for anyone who doesn't know, stands for experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And these are signals that Google cares a lot about, but we don't know if they're ranking factors. I'll give the listeners just some quick background on where we know about EEAT from. So Google has employs an army of quality raters to rate different websites. And the purpose of that is to try to get their algorithm to match what the real people are saying about the quality of these websites. And several years ago, the quality rater guidelines were leaked. This is an almost 200-page document. And ever since then, Google said, to hell with it, we'll just start publishing it yearly. And that's how we know about all these things that Google supposedly cares a lot about, but we don't know if they're ranking factors. Things like authorship, experience of the author, are there broken links, are there tons of ads? And I see a lot of ways to use AI to identify opportunities in those areas. I already mentioned finding the contradictions between different types of articles. I'm also experimenting with using different processes to for other EEAT tactics. For example, finding we have some articles that make claims but don't cite the sources, and there have been hypotheses that citing sources is a good SEO practice. In fact, Matt Cutts and John Mueller have both said as much. So right now I'm testing a process to find the actual sources that we should be that we should be citing in different articles. Same thing for things that are just factually incorrect. You can also ask ChatGPT to go through every single article on your website and find things that are factually incorrect. And we know, we suspect that Google is using that as a ranking factor also. If there are certain things that Google knows are not true and you're saying that they're true, that could count against you. So that's one area that I'm particularly excited about.
Nice. Yeah. Long short story. Yeah, I got it. Valuable. And yeah, I want to get back a little bit to ask a new question. You started in 2007. I think I started my journey in 2008, almost in one time. And at that time, I had a team of writers who wrote about anything. I gave them topics like weight loss, finance, accounting, everything. They wrote, Google ranked well. We go ahead. Then, of course, we changed the strategy because of Panda, because of many other algorithms, because of EEAT that you mentioned. By the way, Lily Ray wrote an article, checklist, EEAT parameters for my SEO course. So valuable. And for me, really, I don't care. It's direct factor, indirect factor. I really don't care, because it's like, for example, if someone wants to lose weight, who cares? Drinking water is direct or indirect, it helps. I mean, like, of course, probably the most important, you need to go to the gym to spend time, or I don't know, use cardio. But it means you need to eat healthy food, you need to drink water, probably healthy food, direct factor, go to the gym and running in the evening, indirect factor. But it helps a lot to lose weight. It's the same with SEO. If EEAT, let's imagine, indirect factor, who cares? If Google can consider in their algorithm, and content is number one ranking factor. Yeah, we know about that. Nothing changed. Links are not even in the top 5. I remember many, like in 2015, Andrei Lipitz said that it's the second ranking factor. Today it's not, but I think content will be the king all the time. It's important to create high quality content, and if people need to get content from experts, that Google can consider that. And for example, we help a lot websites in investing, trading niche. Our customers, users, are looking for content from experts. They don't care about content written with someone who can understand the topic. They need to content from experts. That is why we cooperate with specialists who can write for Forbes, Investopedia, great websites. We use PR in our strategy and got mentions on CNN, Bloomberg, many great websites with experts who can write for Forbes and other websites. So we cooperate with them to write for our. So for me, I really don't care. Indirect, it impacts. So I need to consider, EEAT. And I want to ask you about how to use AI to create high quality content by considering EEAT. You mentioned about EEAT. You can use ChatGPT to analyze this parameter in existing content. But I want to ask if you want to create a new content. So how to use AI and experts to create high quality content?
Great question. So one tactic that I've been using for a long time, but have really sped up since AI has come into play, is expert interviews.
Mm-hmm.
And guest blogging is another controversial area in SEO. A lot of SEO say don't do guest blogging anymore. It's not that helpful. But I find that if you get a really high quality expert and create a good piece of journalism, then you'll be able to get onto an important site, important blog in your niche. And that will actually help, and it could get picked up by other publishers. So one thing that AI helps me do is plan for that process. For example, to find experts to interview, help think of interesting topics, and also come up with the actual help come up with actual questions for the interview. And that's one way to help hedge against the helpful content updates and the core algorithm updates, and use AI to provide information that is not going to be available elsewhere online. I think that's a really important way to use AI, but I don't think that AI is going to be the full answer. I think there's a not consensus, but I think most SEOs say that for most types of content, you will still need a layer of human editing. And I think that there's a lot of ways that humans can improve the ways that they add unique information to content. Like you mentioned, we both started around the same, doing SEO around the same time. I kind of miss the days where you could churn out really low quality 300 to 500 word articles and work well. I mean, I remember when I first started, we had websites that were even doing well using tactics like using target keywords in the background with the same in the same color.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. Things don't work that way as Google updates their algorithm. So I think it's important for writers to also know how to use different tools to create their own data, how to use things like Google Trends, and find your own databases, create your own charts, your own assumptions, etc.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's talk more about this AI prompts. What I found, it's important to know the topic, and it's important to know how to write. If you have no these skills, you can't create great prompts. You can't edit existing results, because it's not like to use best practices, best prompts that you can find on Google, submit on ChatGPT, and get high quality content. I play with ChatGPT a lot. I can create chat. I can ask 20 questions. Then I quit chat, start again, because I can't explain in the first attempt. I can ask many questions to crop this content, to edit results, but I can do it only for marketing and SEO. I can't do it for accounting. I can't do it for weight loss. Even if I lost weight like 5 years ago, but that was personal experience. But I think it's important to have an extended experience to create these AI prompts, and it's important to know how to write. Because, for example, I cooperated with great accounting specialists. They get high salary, good results, but they don't know how to write. They use ChatGPT to create generic, not generic, okay, let's imagine not generic text, but it's boring to read, and it's very important to write text that people want to read. For example, when I spoke with Jim Edwards, he worked in Business Insider 10 years. He started on this company from scratch. Then company was sold for $500 million. And he told me that success of Business Insider depends on creating non-boring content. So if you know the topic but you can't write, you can't create great content. If you know how to write but you don't know the topic, you can't. So you need to have both. So tell from your experience how you play with ChatGPT. I mean, like, to create the best possible result.
Well, I think that ChatGPT can be very boring. And we are doing a bunch of tests with ChatGPT content right now, even testing content that was only created by ChatGPT. Unsurprisingly, that content isn't doing that great. I've seen a bunch of case studies from people. There's one really popular one that went viral a couple weeks ago where someone claimed a massive increase in traffic just by using AI prompts to copy another website's content. To create content based on their URL structure. But I've also seen that a lot of these sites have lost traffic when algorithm updates roll around. So it doesn't seem like the best long-term tactic, especially as Google rolls out updates like the helpful content update to steer away from to help hedge against that. But I think that one thing that you can do is you can use the temperature setting in ChatGPT's API to get more creative content if you don't want to have boring content. So if you choose a 0.9, for example, you're probably more likely to get factual inaccuracies, but your content will be a lot more creative. And if you want to just stick to the facts and be boring and straightforward, then go with a 0.1 temperature. And you can also provide information about what kind of persona you want the ChatGPT to have. If you want to assume the persona of an expert in a certain field, or if you want to just be a generic helpful assistant, which is what it is out of the box. So I think that by definition, inherently, ChatGPT is going to have a hard time giving you unique information because it is trained on information that's already been published online. So I think that it is going to be very helpful, especially for types of content where people don't necessarily need to have human expertise. For example, I think ChatGPT would be great at creating Sudoku puzzles but I don't think that we're getting rid of the human element just yet. I think it's possible at some point. I've heard that a lot of writers have lost jobs, but I think that the companies that are letting these writers go and leading too much into ChatGPT are doing so at their own peril.
Mm-hmm. For me, if companies can lay off any writers, that means these writers need to improve skills to play with AI, because if writers can write, nobody will lose such writers, because I think after launching ChatGPT, I still cooperate with writers who provide results. I don't lay off anyone who can write text that Google ranks well. For me, it's important to know how to write. It's important to know the topic, and I never disallow to use ChatGPT. I use a lot, and writers can use a lot, but I don't care if you writers can create high quality content. Okay, use with ChatGPT, use without. It doesn't matter. Just create high quality content. Find the way how to do it. And for me, ChatGPT can help to create a lot of content at scale. Not like without this tool. Alex, I wanna ask about some other SEO metrics, controversial metrics, like domain authority, domain rating, according to Ahrefs, domain authority in Moz. I don't remember even. SEMrush has this metric. I think all tools, CRanking, SERPstat, have own metrics. Uber suggests, but Google denies this metric. And the last time we can see the tendency that the impact of link building is decreasing. Google tell for many years, don't use link building. It doesn't work. And it's not even in the top 5 ranking factors today. I know some companies that that don't use link building to get a million traffic, a lot of results. I know companies that can tell without links you can't go ahead, and they use a lot link building to get great results. I think it's not like someone right or wrong, it depends. But tell your thoughts. What do you think about domain rating, domain authority, and about link building? It's important or not today?
Good question. I'll just quickly say regarding what we were talking about on the last point that I agree with you. If you have a good writer, don't let them go. I've worked with hundreds of writers, have had very large networks, and one of the reasons
it's a lot. How to manage 100 writers? I don't know.
It is tough. It's a little easier when they're freelancers, but one of the things that's tough with working with freelancers is that you have so many people with good resumes, but they're not able to be consistent. So yeah, if you do find a really good writer, cling on to them for dear life. I've had a couple of these writers over the years, and I knew they were going to go on to do great things. One is a professor, the other is a creative director at a large company. So definitely agree there. One thing that I disagree with you on slightly is that I remember one thing that the head of content at Codecademy said one time. She said that with enough research and enough understanding of a topic, a good writer can pretty much cover any topic. But I agree with you. It is very helpful to have expertise from someone who actually knows about that field. Now, to answer your question about domain authority, I think that most SEOs are aware at this point that that this is a metric that can be gained. I've seen tons of super spammy sites with domain authorities in the 80s and maybe even higher, but 80s is the last that I remember. So it can be a good indicating factor. And it can be a good indicator of your link profile health if you're not engaging in spammy link building tactics. And I think that most link building that goes on is spammy, especially when you're working with a link building agency. There's a dumb joke. How do you know if a link building agency is any good? They call themselves a PR agency. Mm-hmm. So slowly, SEO is becoming more like real marketing. And that's why people are working with PR agencies instead of link building agencies. And content creation is one of the most important things there. People say it's a cliche for a reason, that content creation is one of the best ways to build links, to earn links to your website. There are other tactics that I think are worthwhile, especially for certain types of brands. For example, if you're a brand that gets mentioned a lot, you're probably, first of all, going to benefit less from link building than other websites because you already probably have a lot of links if you get mentioned a lot. But one thing that you can do is find people who are talking about you without linking back to your website and just reach out to them and say, hey, thanks for writing about us. Do you mind linking back to us? This used to work really well for me back in the day before people got inundated by requests from SEOs to guest blog and for a link and so and so. But it still works, and it's an earned link because they're already talking about you. So that's one thing that you can likely use AI to automate. Find people who are talking about you, create outreach emails, things like that. Back in 2014 or 2015, when I was working with an agency called Direct Agents in New York, I built, I believe, the very first, if not one of the very first tools that automates that process, that finds the link list mentions for you. And like I said, it makes more sense for certain types of brands. For example, one of the companies that was most interested in this tool that we built was Sony, and they used it for properties like Crackle to find people who are talking about them without linking back to their website. But now I bet you could automate that in a day with ChatGPT. Things are moving fast, and that's one reason why SEO is so exciting, but also one reason why SEOs never get a break. And related to that, I think it would be a good idea for me to mention one bit of advice I offer to other SEOs that I talk with, and just anyone that's in the workforce. One thing that really helps me not to go crazy with all the change and all the work that you can do in SEO. I mean, there's never a moment where you can just say, I'm done. I can take a break. There's always something else that you can work on. One tip that I carry with me from my time working with agencies is that I always log my hours. And that helps me in a couple of ways. First of all, it helps make sure that I'm not underworking. And that gives me confidence, knowing that I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to. And I also want to make sure that I'm not overworking, because eventually you'll just burn out if you do that, right? So I know a lot of people don't like logging their hours, but for me, it's been really helpful, as well. In addition to this technique called Pomodoro, which entails taking a 5-minute break every 25 minutes just to recharge.
Yeah, I think so. But yeah, I tried to play with such tools, but I decided it doesn't work for me. I think it depends, because for me, I can spend like 3-4 hours doing one thing, without interruption. But yeah, many other things can interrupt the process. But I'm trying to focus. So yeah, I think it depends. If it works for you, that's great. I know some people who can use such tools as well. And I like when someone disagrees with me, about writing text. Yeah, I think it depends on the niche. If we speak about some broad niches, it works well. You can collect data, you can learn, and I did it as well. Once I got like 16K for my consultancy service about online games, and I wrote text myself because I played these games a few days. I learned how it works. Uh, I learned why people are playing these games, and I felt that I can write a good text, for these pages. But I collected data. I think it works. But if you ask me about medical advice, about finance, it's tough. Even if you collect data, you can collect data. Yeah, about technical analysis and trading. You need to read 15 books, to understand how it works, to analyze all this information. And yeah, it depends on niches. Some broad niches, it works perfectly fine. That's okay. Even if you can write good text and can collect data for a few days, yeah, you can create great content. So yeah, it's usual.
That's a good point. Yeah, I agree with you, actually. And related to that, I'm curious to hear your take on something. So Google has said repeatedly that having an author is not a ranking factor. But I've seen case studies that show that, I'm sure you know that a ton of companies have been adding authors to their websites and saying that they've been reviewed by so-and-so, even when they haven't been in some cases. And some of those companies have been seeing increases in traffic around the times of core algorithm updates, but not after they add those authors. So I'm curious if you think this is one of those areas where Google isn't telling us the full truth. I mean, we know that from their quality rater guidelines that it seems that authorship, that even having an author and having an author with relevant expertise is extremely important. It's mentioned many dozens, if not hundreds of times. I bet it's mentioned hundreds of times in the quality rater guidelines. So what's your take? Is Google not being straightforward?
I think it's better to do it. It's better to add offers to blog posts, to the information. Let me explain why. Because users wanna know who wrote these copies. For example, let's imagine you open any blog and you see the offer Rand Fishkin or Neil Patel. Now, you know these offers. It helps to increase trust. These offers deserve to write great copies because of their experience. It's the same like with books. I love reading books. I spend so much time by reading books, but I have no time to read a teeny percent of great books. So I'm picky. I choose great authors. I choose authors like Jack London, I don't know, Josh Sugarman. I'm picky because I have no time to read all other great books. I think it's the same with SEO. If you leave offers and offers have some recognition, you can improve even a little bit the trust. If your offers are well known, and for example, we add offers everywhere. Even let's imagine your users don't know the offer, but it can help to increase the trust because you can see the offer. Let's imagine you want to read a book, you don't know the offer, but you see the offer. You can read the bio, you can analyze what kind of offer is it. You can check on social media, and people can do it to save time. It's like to read reviews before buying products, or read offer bios before buying books. It helps, and all this small help can make a big impact. Just like let's imagine website speed. If your website is loading faster for a few seconds, I don't know, even 1 second, it helps. Let's imagine a little bit, but it helps. It's the same with offers. I don't care. It's direct, indirect. I care that users wanna see, who wrote this text. If they wanna see, it helps. If your offers are great, it helps a lot. If they don't know these offers, it helps a little bit because they see that was written by human being. And people open offer bios. They open. They want to know about these offers. They deserve to write the text, to read. And according, I don't remember exactly where I took this data, but a lot of people open page about us, offer bios. They open because they're interested about that. So my input is simple: do it. That's it. So don't care about direct, indirect. Care more about if it helps users, even a little bit.
Yeah, I like that. That's sharp. And I typically tell myself and other people when they don't know the answer to a question, they don't know how to proceed with something, I ask myself, what's best for user experience? Because if you ask yourself that question, then your goals are going to align with Google's goals, and that's probably going to be a better long-term strategy. But yeah, I think that that your thinking is in line with mine, that we don't really know if it's a ranking factor, but it's probably improving engagement signals.
I think it's the same like with branding. Why? Sometimes Amazon or Wikipedia rank higher than much better content because people click on Amazon and Wikipedia. They know this website. They know on Amazon they have trust, authority. If they click Wikipedia, they know this resource. Don't share some nonsense, only proofreading information. It's like branding. These websites can rank with high volume keywords, even less relevant to the user intent, because people want to open these websites. And it's like with offers. If you have, for example, if someone will open unmiss.com and can see the offer Alex Tatarinov-Levin. Oh, I know this guy. I heard on him on Miss podcast. I checked his online stuff. It's great. So I want to read about this article, because it's valuable. So it's just to like branding can win in SEO. If you have strong brand recognition, you can win in SEO. You can win in social media. You can win because customers, users know you. If they don't, it's still important to have it. It's my opinion, because people can analyze before reading. If you need to read long article, it's better to check who the offer. It's like it takes a few seconds to analyze, and people do it, often do it. Yeah, it's my input. Okay, Alex, I want to ask about your experience. Let's count 2007, today 2023. It's like 30 years. Oh man, it's a lot.
Yeah.
No. No.
Almost 20. Yeah. It's been a long time.
Yeah. Okay. Can you tell what will you do today if you started from scratch?
So if I was starting from scratch in SEO or in anything?
In SEO, considering that we have AI, let's imagine, for example, Google exists. The search engine you used before to search for some keywords, to reply to your questions. But you want to become an expert in one day to spend years of working hard to achieve some high positions, or you business owner uh, who wants to learn how it works to cooperate with great experts. It doesn't matter. You want to get the basic how it works. What will you do today if you started from scratch?
Great question. So I think that you should start trying to get experience that will pay you to learn about SEO. Because if you have a lot of time, sure, you'll be able to learn many things, but it's also valuable to be able to get hands-on experience and see what things are going to work or not work for a real business. I think there are a lot of resources that you'll want to lean on. For example, every morning I read Search Engine Land, Search Engine Roundtable, Google's SEO developer blog. Moz's blog is excellent. Moz's blog has less news information, but they'll have in-depth articles about strategy and tactics. And I think it's also important to follow people who know a lot about SEO on social media. People like you mentioned, Lily Ray, Marie Haynes is one of my favorite experts on EEAT topics. And you'll find a lot of information on social media that you won't find in articles online. I think that's a good start. I think it's also a good idea to find a mentor who will help you along the journey because the mentor will have a real experience and will tell you which things you're reading about are misconceptions and have worked for him or her in the past. And I also think it's important to think about how SEO works with other channels because especially as Google's algorithm develops, it does affect many other channels, and SEOs are aware that there's a correlation between social signals and better performance in search. Same thing with paid search, even though Google says that's not true in both cases. I've done my own studies that show that sending paid traffic to pages that are already ranking in Google search results will increase their traffic. And on the paid side, it will increase their click-through rate and decrease the cost per click. But this was a study I ran back in 2017. So I'm not sure if that still holds today. I know that Google has been in a lot of litigation, so I'm sure they're trying to separate their ad service and search service again. But yeah, I think it's important to think about how SEO can help and work with other channels. With paid search, for example, one great way to work with paid search is to share keyword research. But I also love to look at ads, ad copy for suggestions for metadata and on-page content, for example, because you know that those SEMs have been testing and retesting for a really long time to get copy that's going to resonate with readers. The same thing for with social. I think it's important to get information about what works and what doesn't from your social channels and do the same kind of information sharing. And different organizations, I found myself working with different departments, sometimes literally every single department. At Reader's Digest, I remember I was even working with print and legal at different times, probably every single department in the company. So get to know people. Don't limit yourself to SEO. Learn, especially because SEO affects all these other channels. And try to become a well-rounded marketer, because that's what, as I mentioned before, SEO is slowly becoming just real marketing. You mentioned content is the number one ranking factor, and content and storytelling is one of the most important parts of marketing.
Yeah, love it, love it. I love your reply. I couldn't agree more. I agree with you. You sometimes disagree with me, but I agree with you completely.
Well,
And
you brought me around.
yeah, and I agree completely that SEO is related to marketing than ever. And I like books that were written before digital, because all these books tried to satisfy human being, and SEO, social media, all resources are working hard to satisfy human being, not algorithms. And
Great
um,
point.
people can't learn algorithms. Even in Google, I checked one study that people in Google don't know how this AI machine can rank websites. They have no idea, and we can assume, we can think, okay, content, authority, brand recognition, technical optimization. Of course, everything can help, but you need to be better than your competitors for human being. Then algorithms will work for you. So it's my point. And Alex, I still have final question, very important question about the future. I always ask this question, and Apple is going to launch augmented reality, this headset. We'll see how it looks. I like all Apple products. I have a lot of them, MacBooks, iPhones, and I know Apple can revolutionize something. Then about chatbots. What I see, chatbots can reply sometimes better than Google. I had this experience. I can ask some questions that Google can reply, but I need to search in content to get these replies. But on chatbots, I can get straightforward reply for a few seconds. So things are going fast, and I disagree when someone can tell that SEO will never. I think everything has the end, and SEO will be dead. Will be dead, but it takes time, decades probably. I don't know. Like it takes time to change habits, to provide something new, and I think if you have experience in SEO, you can adapt to any channel. If you know how to create high quality content, you can switch your attention where a customer's attention will be, to adapt to any channel. It's like marketers on TV and radio didn't lose their jobs. They adapted to digital. We can adapt to any channel, augmented reality, virtual reality. We'll see. I don't know, but we can adapt. Today, SEO is powerful. It's powerful tool, still brings more traffic. We can't ignore this traffic. But SEO doesn't teach us how to rank. SEO teaches how to create high quality content, how to increase website speed, how to provide the best user experience. Even if you don't rank, you can use all these tips to create better user experience with other digital marketing channels. Alex, I want to ask you how you see this future and how you are going to adapt to this possible future.
Great question. I'm not sure I agree that SEO is going to be dead as long as content is going to be part of SEO. But it is definitely going to change. And that's why I'm also grateful that I'm an SEO because it's going to be harder for us to get stuck. I mean, look at us programming with ChatGPT now. That's not something that I thought I was going to be doing about a year ago. But you have to adapt in SEO. I think that what you mentioned earlier, the virtual reality goggles are going to be one of the most one of the best uses of AI. I think it's going to be a complete game changer. Imagine wearing goggles and walking down the street and getting information unprompted provided to you. For example, if you forget someone's name, you can have it just like displayed right above their head or something. Yeah. It's like, oh, Brad, I haven't seen you in 10 years. How have you been? So I personally can't wait for that. I am a little scared of the dystopian possibilities like other people, but right now I'm just having a lot of fun working on all the exploring all the opportunities. But I really hope that regulators won't let AI take over, which is funny to say, but I mean, it seems like everything else from the dystopian novels and sci-fi movies is coming true. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was a robot takeover at some point also.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if we need to fight with Terminators or not. We'll see. But today we can't ignore AI. We can't ignore SEO because these channels are powerful. When AI will be smarter than human being, probably we will have this fight. We need to invite Arnold Schwarzenegger to share experience, how to do it right. But today, if you ignore it, then the market and customers will ignore you. Alex, it's a big pleasure. Thanks so much for taking your time, for sharing all these valuable insights. Tell the best way how to keep learning from you, how to reach out to you, how to follow you.
Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. My Twitter recently got suspended due to thousands of bot followers I had back in the 2010s. So LinkedIn is probably the best way for now. And I want to thank you very much also. I really enjoyed talking with you and also listening to your podcast.
Oh, thank you, thank you. So Elon Musk broke your heart, and Elon Musk can broke many hearts. He's working hard on that, to change the game. Yeah. So yeah, but we still have LinkedIn. I'm going to follow you to learn more valuable insights. I recommend to anyone to follow Alex on LinkedIn, so you can learn a lot more to update your skills because marketing is a quickly changing world. Okay, guys, love you. See you.